Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and in today's episode, I'm going to go through another very important research episode. I'm going to go through the MyAnimeList for the year 1986. Okay, very, very significant year for me, and a very important year in anime as well. So, again, before we begin, don't forget to go down below, click like, and click subscribe, and don't forget. And the new thing you have to do with YouTube, of course, is now you have to um, click that notification button, because now the YouTube doesn't recommend my videos. So the only way to get to see new content and that kind of stuff is to click the notifications on, so that way when I put these new episodes out, you'll know. All right. So without a little bit of I'll put a little bit of header before we begin going through the list and going through the episodes. But so 1986 is a very, very significant year for me. So I'm going to go through all the various different titles that happened in 1986 in Japan, but also at this time, 1986 is the year I graduated grade 12. So at this time, I'm still in Prince George, very, very small community of less than 100,000 people. I still don't know what anime is. Okay, in my high school, there was only like 2 people that were actually Japanese, and I didn't even know them very well. Other than that fact that I think Alan Oyama was actually in one of my, I think it was in my math class, and I think it was in my social studies class. But other than that, really didn't talk to him very much. So I had really nobody to talk about Japanese animation, or anything for that matter, because that's not what I was watching at that time. Again, I might have seen an odd Captain Hawk, Captain Albutur, from the French channel, Sing to Katsai, which is the French version of Cat's Eye. And that's really about it. Okay. Also in addition to graduating in 1986, that summer, we went down to Vancouver because I began university later on that year. That part of the year in fall of '86, I'll begin going to University of British Columbia down in Vancouver. But during the summer, we had the World Exposition Expo '86, and so this going down to Vancouver and getting immersed into this sort of big it's like a big party almost. Like I remember I went to the exposition multiple times. I mean, the thing went on for the course of the summer, and I probably went in there probably 30 times plus. And I remember a lot of times it was going out with different people, going out with friends, meeting their friends, and meeting different people from at the time it wasn't the internet, but it was the the BBS community, mostly from the Apple computer software and that kind of stuff and whatnot. So we met a lot of people that way, and slowly I started to see all the different things that are going on, and of course eventually meeting up with the FOBs and all the different sort of game culture that was out there. So a very, very important time that for me. But again, at this time I still didn't really know what anime was, and I still didn't get introduced to a lot of anime. So I'm going to go through this year talking about the different animes that became important as they arrived on our shores multiple years after. Because again, when I did get started in anime, 87, 88, their titles that were from multiple years previous, because it just takes that long for those titles in Japan to get over here and become recognized over here. Because again, the only way we can actually see these Japanese animations is that someone actually had to physically record them on VHS tapes and then bring them from Japan over here, and then we can actually have a copy of it over here that we can actually watch. Okay, so let's begin. I'm going to go through 1986, and I'm going to go through all the significant titles that are important to us, have some sort of viewing, and were somewhat popular in the year 1986. And hopefully you'll be able to find some titles that maybe you might be interested in. At the end, I will make my recommendations of things that you need to pay attention to for this particular year, 1986. Okay, so with that, let's begin. Okay, so right away, we'll start with the winter of 1986, and the first title that's brand new on the TV side is the series Dragon Ball. So yeah, again, this is a very, very big and significant series. And again, I started getting these episodes when I went to the Japanese grocery store, and they had all these random video cassettes on top of their freezer, and I just basically got all the episodes randomly from those tapes I got there. Okay. And so there's nothing else on the way of new TV shows here, so we'll just scroll through all the past shows, and we go on to the OAVs and that kind of stuff. Again, if you want to catch any of those older TV shows, go back to my previous episode where I went over them in the 1985 one. Okay, so at the very beginning is a really funny OAV, the Kitsuri Boyo Chiki Boyo Gun, which is short for affectionately known as the Perfectional Earth Defense Force. Written by a very funny artist, though. Yeah, I remember that one. That was really kind of a cool show. Then the next one is the Humanoid, also one of the very early OAVs that I got hold of, and it was out right in front of that big craze of the sexy robot and that kind of stuff. So this is sort of the the robotic female figure, that kind of stuff. So that was a really big popular phase there. Part of the pastel Imagine Emmy type series. A couple people had that, not really big, popular, things like that. There's a short OVA called the Cool Bye. Very few people had that one, but it did show up on a couple of different trading lists. So that's kind of significant. And here is the OVA set for Panzer Gallant, and some more recaps of Armored Trooper Votoms. Okay, again, that was the big thing now, is that after a TV show has ended, they go on and they make these little short clips or these review episodes, and they really re-release them again, so that this is where you'll get to watch them again. So if you didn't follow the series, that's no big deal. They just make just the way that they do make them. Okay. Karzar Syndrome. Okay, yeah, that was a kind of none of these love romance type things with the thing. So I know a couple of people had them. Pretty forgettable, I suppose. Yeah, and that pretty well does it for OAVAs. Okay, so now the big blockbuster movies. Now, right off the bat, the Fist of the North Star, Hakuru no Ken, the movie, definitely one of the really good ones. So again, if you didn't follow the series, definitely watch the movie. That was really good. That's the beginning of your meme. Omae wa Shinderu, of course. Everyone loves that. The next Yusurat Sura movie, Lum, which is the fourth one in there, Lum Forever. So that is really good. And then here's an important one, Arion. Okay, so this is a Yaz movie. So again, he'll bring you Venus Wars and that kind of stuff. So Arion, really good movie. Love that sort of thing there. So that was always really good. Okay, so yeah, definitely Yaz was hot off the tail, the trail of doing Crusher Joe in the previous year. So that's definitely one to check out. And let's see, going down. See, we have Captain Tsubasa. Okay, the soccer boy. That's not again one of the ones that wasn't really significant. Gegege no Kotaro. Again, in that same universe as Captain Hawk and that kind of stuff. Again, not really significant. And Kinkuku Man, again, for the wrestling kind of things, again, not relevant, so I'm not gonna add those at that. So that pretty much does it up for the movies for this particular season. Okay, so we skip ahead to the next season here, and we start off with again, very significant TV shows. Maison Ikaku. This is the second series that we fan subbed. Begins this particular season, and again, this is very, very important because it's the very long Rumiko Takahashi series. She just finished doing Yurusu Atsura, and also bam, Maison Ikaku comes out. So another big title for Rumiko, and so very, very significant. And you also made note that Maison Ikaku started this season, this year. Orange Road started afterwards. Okay, so that's very important because Maze no Kaku is a much bigger series. It'll overflood and cover Orange Road. Okay. And again, so number 2, you see Double Zeta Gundam. So the weighted series for the continuation from Zeta Gundam now to Double Zeta Gundam. And again, they put that filler of Dragonar in there. And again, a lot of people are complaining like that. Wait a minute, these mechs look exactly like Gundams, right? So, but yeah, so I was really excited about this one because this is the first Gundam series I got really exposed to, and actually got good copies again. Double Zeta Gundam episodes were showing up on those tapes that I was getting from the Japanese grocery store, which were mixed in with the Dragon Ball episodes. So again, I was getting dispersed. You can see what happens, right? Because Dragon Ball and Double Zeta Gundam were all kind of rolling out at the same time, so they would show up on the TV, on your TV guide all the time. So if you started your timer on your VCR, you'd probably end up hitting episodes of said Gundam and all these episodes I'm going through it now. Okay, so very, very significant. And then of course the Jin, of course. Not very people had that series, so that was kind of insignificant. Okay, so the rest of the titles here, the Hikaru Densetsu. Okay, that's like a gymnastics thing, really good, useless. Seishin no Zenbu, that's like classic animes, not very useful. Water Scramble, not useful. And Kyuya Ikiman, nope, never heard of it. So yeah, so nothing else significant in the way the TV series for the rest of this season. Okay, so we advance ahead now to past all the continuing TV series, so we don't have to worry about those, and go right to the OAVs. Okay, so we got some new OAVs that wouldn't have significance here. MD Geist, that was a really nice one, because again, we're gonna get into all these violent, sort of animes, that kind of stuff. Definitely follows that formula. Violent Jack, there's another one that's really good. Because I remember getting that one from the Japanese video store, Fuji Video. The Chojo, okay, so more Rumiko Takahashi, part of the that Rumiko Takahashi fire, with Fire Tripper and that kind of stuff. So that's Laughing Target. Okay, the Transformers, Scramble City. Okay, so more Transformers. So that was always really a big popular thing back then as well. Dan Cougar, oh yes, Raccoon for Victims. Okay, so that was the the summary sort of thing and sort of conclusion for the Dan Cougar series. Of course, exactly, the movie is very good. Bari Bari Densetsu, because this is a personal favorite of mine, because it was a biker, had to do with bikes and that kind of stuff, and so that was cool. My friend David Urquhart would love that one there, because even though we never even translated, never did anything with it. Pelican Road. Okay, so very few people had Pelican Road. It did show up on a couple lists, quite insignificant, but it did, was sort of there, yeah. And what else we got here? We got Magical Emmy, final round, so it's more completion of the Magical Emmy show, and that's probably about it for OAVs. Okay, so now into movies now. We'll slip ahead. Right away, the very significant movie, Project A-Code, the very first movie. So again, this is a pretty groundbreaking thing. This is, from the influences of Cream Lemon, they bring out Project A-Code, so it's kind of really good there. What else we got here? They got the Touch movie, which a few people did have that. Baseball love stories. I never liked the artwork for that one, so let's go over that one. And and just flipping down there a little more there, and we see the Abashi Ami, which is kind of like the Ami part of the Cream Lemon series. So again, more of this Cream Lemon stuff is just creeping up. So very, very significant there. Okay, so that finishes all the movies and no specials. So okay, we will go on to the next season. Now, the next season, there's only one new TV series, the Machine Robo. That was kind of cool. I mean, it's a little bit of I like the artwork on that one. So that was a pretty neat series. All right, so gotta continue more with this kind of stuff, and go to the OVAs now. Okay, so we go to the OVAs here now. Again, a bunch of really kind of really script type of OVAs here, but we're at the beginning. We have Call Me Tonight, which is technically part of the Cream Lemon series, but I mean also a little bit of risque type of material there. Let's see, we got another one called the California Crisis. Rather, rather forgettable anime, but kind of interesting artwork on that one. But the more important one right now is at the very end here, the Amon Saga. Okay, so this is another one of those Amano titles. So again, I don't think it's as good as Angel's Egg or anything like that, but definitely not as good as like Vampire Hunter D. But again, if you're interested in his artwork, like Vampire Hunter D from was it the previous year, and you're interested in his work that he did with like Final Fantasy and stuff, this is one of the titles that you need to check out, especially if you're a fan of his work. Okay, continuing down the list, we got the an OAVA for the Votoms, the big battle. Now again, if you're not a big fan of Votoms, like I said in the previous episode, the one sort of OAVA that if you're gonna watch one Votoms, I'd recommend watching Votoms, The Last Red Shoulder. That was presented from last year. So this is just another one of these mixed OVAs again. Continuing along. They got this one called the Root Search. It's okay. A lot of people did have that one, and it wasn't really that significant. But for those people who like that kind of stuff, that's okay. And again, the last one is the Cosmos, the Pink Shock. Now this one, okay, doesn't have much of a storyline, but it is one of those titles that's done by Hirano, and again, you know him from this year for doing Dangayo, and of course he'll go on to make a lot of other and to also direct a lot of other animes and that kind of stuff as well too. So yeah, again, if you like that kind of art style and you just want to have a sort of a fun sort of anime to watch and kind of thing, don't worry about the story too much, but this is one of those type of stories that you want to have a look at. Alright, so we'll scroll a little more here. Okay, so we got some more titles here. Shonen Bakuzo. Okay, so another one of these, I guess, let's say a precursor to GTO kind of idea, but, artwork is, again, pretty horrible and also a pretty forgettable type of anime. But, if you're into that sort of, kind of thing, then that's alright. The SPT Laser OVA. Okay, yeah, this is following up the series, which was had a kind of an open ending. So if you want to find out more about Eiji and Anna, then that's for you. And the last one here, of course, Kitsunoi Bit 2. Okay, so this is a notable title. It's done by the guy, of course, who does like Crying Freeman, and this is significant because this is, the story is very, very similar to Crying Freeman, actually. But the interesting thing is this is like, pushing the envelope of extremely risque. Okay, and you'll see why, because I said, if you've seen Crying Freeman, you know his style already, and so it's a really quite a really high quality animation, like in terms of people and that kind of stuff, and they spent quite a bit of resolution, shall we say, dedicated towards certain scenes, shall we say, where anime kind of come from. I think it's probably this year where a lot of titles seem to indicate and seem to push the envelope for that, and this is definitely probably one of the ones that is a forefront on that. And okay, some pretty forgettable titles here. No, really, these three don't really have any significance, but except for maybe Sammy Missing 99 is one of those ones that sort of appeared, and I think it's just sort of the girl with hidden powers is an overdone trope, and I think just throwing the Chojikin, the super dimensional kind of name after of course super dimensional fortress Macross and super dimensional Century Calvary, Southern Cross and things like that, and super dimensional Orgus, that super dimensional romance. I mean, okay, I think the trope is kind of over on this one, so I think it's just kind of a bad idea with a bad title with a bad everything else. So yeah, so that's probably the only really significant one out of these three. Alright, and we can continue on, and the last OAVA for this season is the Magical Emmy. So again, more summary OAVA plus a little add-on type of thing for that magical girl. So Magical Emmy. Alright, so that'll do it for OVAs. Now let's go on to movies. Alright, so the page headed to movies, and we got quite a few movies now. Right off the bat, Studio Ghibli comes up with Laputa. So that's definitely a very good title right there. Another classic title here, Windaria. Okay, so that's that's a nice kind of struggling nations, and kind of really kind of a sad thing there, but that was really kind of nice. The first volume of Golf Force. All right, so that Gage Snowda stuff. All right, so definitely you want to check that one out. And then we continue down the list here. We have I City or Love City. That one was sort of popular. I know a lot of people sort of had that kind of on their list, and it was traded around a little bit. So that was a notable title. Captain Tsubasa, okay, that's Soccer Boy. I tend to ignore most of his movies. And here's a pretty obscure one, Super Mario Brothers. The Peach, Princess Peach movie. Again, even at my time, we never saw anyone who had this movie. Again, even with the popularity of the Super Nintendo, this movie was essentially brushed underneath the carpet. So virtually nobody ever had that. Okay, and we'll scroll along here. Let's see what else we got here. We have the Sherlock Holmes, or Sherlock Hound, I should say, the movie. Nobody really knew what that was. High School Kimigumi, the movie. Very, very rare type of one. Again, the animation quality was really, really poor on that one. So again, pretty much ignored. Gege no Kotaro, again based off the TV series. Not a lot of people got clapped on that one. Okay, and on this page we got Betty Montagari. Again, that one was, the animation quality wasn't very good on that quality, but it was, one of those ones that was really, really edgy and smutty. That they added on there. So a lot of people tried to get their hands on that one, and that one was in the circulation a little bit, but it was kind of unknown. Let's see what else we have. We have the Maple, Maple Story again. So that's I don't really know what that was. And Running Boy again. No one really knew what that one was either. Dexter Beginning again unknown, and Ginburo Swimi again unknown. So again, a lot of this stuff just doesn't didn't have any distribution or appeal over here. Okay, so. Okay, and some specials. The Ginga Taisen 2001 and A Border Planet. No one ever heard of that one. And the second sequel to Legend Through Kingdoms, Sangoshi 2. No one ever heard of that one either. So, let's just continue on to the next year. Okay, so now into the last quarter, so the fall of 1986. The most important show right off the bat is Saint Seiya. So again, this is when they originated this show, and this is a really good important time because a lot of people were into that sort of the fighting team of boys type of thing, and so that was really an important release. And all the other shows here don't really have anything else, so that's none of the other shows have any significance. So we'll just page ahead here and get past all the shows that were continuing. So we'll scroll ahead here to the OAVs. Okay, so for OAVs, this section we have Outlanders. Okay, so again, based off the manga of the same name, Manabe's work, good stuff. Wannabes. Okay, so that's female wrestling anime. Again, a lot, actually, people were actually chasing after that one. That one was really pretty popular. So it's at that end. Okay, no one knows what that is. Next line we got Urban Square. Okay, so this is artist work from Akimi Takada. So before Orange Road, Urban Square came out as an OAVA. People did sort of chase after that one a little bit. That was a title that was familiar. Del Par X. That's sort of your magical girl type of a show. Okay, so the first of the this new transition. So we're getting away from magical MA, Pastel Pasha, and that kind of stuff, and into another type of magical girl type show, Belle Par X. And the next one, of course, is Twinkle Heart. Again, another obscure anime. Probably on the same level as Wannabes and that kind of stuff. And Urban Square, not very well known, but it was still there out in there. Okay, and the last OVA is the Heavy Metal L-Gaim, Pentangoga, Widow, and Lady Gabale OVA. Again, kind of a mixture of because they had a bunch of small OVAs that are kind of so unrelated stuff that happens in L-Gaim kind of at the end. Some of them are pretty funny, including the pixie wrestling match that kind of showed up. So that's kind of rather interesting, especially if you follow the series L-Gaim. That was kind of a neat little thing. So this is another one of those sort of short OVAs that they just kind of added and tacked on to the end of the show. But I guess that's it for OVAs in this section. Okay, so now we go for the movies for this season, and we have the first Dragon Ball movie. So this is the first time from the series that they've actually started making the movie for Dragon Ball, so that's really significant. There's one called There Were 11. Okay, so now we're starting to get to some really classic OVAs that are the same as the ones that we first started here in North America. So again, There Were 11. Of course, there's Guyver. Okay, so again, with the advent of all those new comics that come out, Guyver was one of them, along with things like Area 88, Gray, the Digital Target, for example. Those are those comics that all of a sudden now has an anime that came with it. So again, really pretty cool for that one. And okay, next one is one called Time Stranger. So not to be confused with Goshigun Time Stranger, but this is another time traveling time traveling type of show. And so and this one was kind of nice because this is one of the ones that was sort of more real looking like people rather than the classic anime large cartoony eyes type of look. But I mean, this is kind of really kind of neat, really well drawn, this one. What else do we have? We have Hinatori, so that's the Firebird story, so that was kind of really cool. And then here's one, Great the Digital Target again. I mentioned that one earlier. Again, it was one of the early titles that we kept getting, along with things like Guyver and of course Great. Okay, so continue along here. We also have Tobihir no Abate, which translates to open the door. Which again, surprisingly, just like Time Stranger, it's another girl goes into a different time period type of show. So seems to be lots of those. We have the Second Touch movie. Again, never really followed that series. Just knows into that the baseball love story kind of stuff. So and again it's just in terms of these there's gonna be a few of them. There's Touch, there's Nine, there's Yuki, things like that all will come up. And so I'm not gonna worry about those ones. Just like Captain Tsubasa, just like Gege no Kotaro, and Kikukuman, which is basically the wrestling show. A lot of these shows just are just weren't really big hits here, and but they keep making different versions and different variations of them. So again, I'm just gonna put a pass on all those. Now, I'm not saying that they're not you can't not like them, or they have their sort of place in the Japanese animation culture, but in terms of what the effect it has on North America and how the animes that we get from Japan when they land here in North America, those ones I just mentioned basically had virtually no effect or no significance in our genre as it grew. Okay, so now I'm gonna break down the best titles by category for this year, 1986, and at the same time, sort of give you an idea, what you should watch or what you should pay attention to out of this particular year. Okay, now first I'll begin with TV series. Now, TV series is pretty easy because there wasn't actually a lot of new TV series that was of particular note, in this year, there was a lot of movies and a lot of OVAs, so those will be a little bit harder. But I'll do the easy one first. So we'll start with TV. There's only 4 of them that were significant for this year, and they're pretty big. They're actually pretty big ones. Okay, so I'll mention all 4 of them, and then you can definitely check them out. So from 1986, you'll want to check out Saint Seiya. So this series is very, very popular all over the world. I really got really into it just because of all the mythological kind of background to that. How they worked in the zodiac and all that kind of stuff. So it was really kind of cool. And so a lot of people liked this type of fighting type show. So yeah, that one was very significant. The very big series Maison Ikkaku. So hot off the heels of Urusei Yatsura, Rumiko Takahashi comes up with another series, Maison Ikkaku. And again, notice that this came out before On Road because this is going to be significant for the next year. So definitely a good series to check out. Again, another personal favorite of mine, of course, is the next series of Gundam. So Double Zeta Gundam came out. So of this, the series of Gundams that came out, I like this one the most because it was not as serious and kind of a little bit more lighthearted than Zeta Gundam, but it still had the fancy mechs and the multiple transforming, the connected together sort of thing. Just like just like Dan Cougar did it, and just how Constructicon for the Transformers kind of did it. So that was really kind of one of those new things that I was really, really interested in at that time. And so Double Zeta really did that for me. So that really worked out really well. And the last series, if you've got time, check it out. If you like that kind of stuff, you should check out a series called Machine Robo. Okay. And again, this is kind of significant because it's this sort of kind of robot, kind of Sentai-ish type of feel, but at the same time, it's this this is what I consider one of these shows that can has that brother sister kind of thing, and maybe the starting of the meme of the Yamete Nichan thing. Okay, so probably starts in this one, but again, if you have time to watch it's kind of neat shows to check out. Maybe kind of that that kind of Borgman type of feel that's going to come up a little later on. Okay, so the 4 series again to check out for this year would be Saint Seiya, Maison Ikkaku, Double Zeta Gundam, and Machine Robo. So the movies are going to be a little bit tougher because there's probably 15 movies that probably had some circulation that some people at this time would know a little bit about, that some of them were being distributed around and passed around on VHS and that kind of stuff from tape trading and that kind of stuff. So but I'm going to do it this way. Out of these titles, I'm going to give you the first 5, which are basically automatic shoe-ins, and basically mean that hey, if you're going to look for any movies, just because of how big they are, because of the names that are in these movies, you definitely have to check these ones out. These are automatic shoe-ins, okay? And these 5 movies are going to be Arion. Okay, so obviously this is another one of those big significant movies by Yaz. You're gonna see his Venus Wars and that kind of stuff when he comes out with that. So, so obviously you have to go for this one. And Arion again, there's this big theme of mythology and that kind of stuff going on here. So with Saint Seiya and that kind of stuff, Arion was a good fit. Obviously you want to take out the Fist of the North Star Hakuna no Ken movie. Again, right off the heels of the TV series, and usually I don't recommend TV series movies and that because they'll go off TV series, but again, this is just so ingrained in our now modern memes and then how different types of offshoot TV series by this particular type of drawing style, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, for example. This obviously is a very important title. Obviously any Studio Ghibli title, so Laputa Castle in the Sky was extremely popular, always a good choice for conventions and that kind of stuff. So again, Laputa would be a very good title. And let's see, the next one would be obviously Project A-ko. So right off the heels of that, you know, at this time, Cream Lemon and that sort of factory is starting to come out with a lot of titles, and of course, Project A-ko is one of the biggest hits that comes out. And again, a lot of people, getting anime. Project A-ko was probably one of the first significant movies of that nature that sort of hit over here, that really caught on. And of course, the last one would be the Dragon Ball movie, that stems from the TV series again. But again, just because of how large following the audience that Dragon Ball was, Dragon Ball obviously needs to be included in that list. Okay, so that's your absolute can't miss 5. Okay, so this part makes it nice and easy now, because now that I've removed all those titles, now I'm going to make a shorter list and look at what's left. And instead of making I'd say there'd be like 6 titles that are probably remaining, but I'm going to knock it down to 4. I'm going to take out iCity, and I'm going to take out Gray, the digital target, and limit my choices to these 4. And so these 4 would be my choices after you go past all the givens of the remaining movies. These ones, I would say, would be the ones that you should look at, just because of their significance and that kind of stuff, above and beyond the givens. Okay, I would definitely check out Gal Force. So again, this is the beginning of Kenichi Sonoda's work. You'll see his rise with things like Bubblegum Crisis when that comes up. All right, so definitely that's a good one to check out. The next one would be the movie for Windaria. So again, this is a slightly different art style, and I like this one just because it had a really nice flowing story. It wasn't necessarily a happy ending, but it was very nice, and it was like a feature type movie, kind of experience for that one. So that's why I really like that one. And again, they're always pretty good on it too. So that was one that was definitely sort of worth checking out of the lot here. I'm going to select out Time Stranger. So again, don't get this confused with Time Et Stranger, like Goshigun. Okay, that was the previous year. This one is, again, I chose this one over to Open the Door, because in terms of the the girl going back into time, we get a lot of this kind of stuff with things, like, as you said, sort of precursor to like things like Inuyasha, and and things like that. Again, I'd pick a Time Stranger because just the feel of it was more movie-like. The feel was more, the artwork was kind of cleaner, more more defined, much higher quality type of work. So that's why I chose Time Stranger. And the last one I was going to pick of the set of 4 would be Guyver. Okay, and again, if I had choosing of the movies that came out based off of the comics that were really popular at this particular time as well, because again, we were getting a lot of these comics coming in, which are like off of the mangas, and then all of a sudden these movies came out that was sort of that were based off of the comics. I think if I had to choose between, say, for example, Guyver and Gray, Guyver probably had a better and a bigger influence just because of the the shock value, just the way that they animated it, and I guess even the popularity. I think Guyver had more pull than Gray did. So I'm going to list Guyver as the last choice of this set of 4 that you should check out for 1986. And again, if you have extra time, by all means, do check out some other of these titles. But again, if just trying to keep it complete, the 5 givens, for movies this year is just quite enough anyway. But again, to get past that, if I was going to go for 4, yeah, I'd definitely say Golf Force, Windaria, Time Stranger, and Guyver. Okay, so last but not least, the OAVs now. Now again, there's just like the previous year, a lot more OVAs came out, and I'm gonna probably make another video about this. But I noticed that this is sort of very interesting trend of OVAs coming out here. But I'll do that next episode. So from the list of OVAs, I think the way I would recommend these OVAs this time is not based off of popularity or just gore factor, because there's lots of movies that would have OVAs that would do that. I think I'm going to recommend videos on the OVA list based off of the artist and the completeness of the show. Now I'm going to cut the list to 5. Although I probably would have went 6, but I think 5 is the right number. Okay, and so the titles I'm gonna choose here are the most significant titles that you would want to watch from the OVAs, and I'm gonna base this off of artist and the story type. Okay, so from this list, I'm gonna go from using Amon Saga. Okay. Now, although this, this is just like, Angel's Egg and Vampire Hunter D, this guy's really, been really good on his artwork, and he's, and basically, you'll see his stuff going for, artwork for Final Fantasy as well. So again, more of this kind of stuff, and he's making a good role on that. So yeah, I definitely recommend Amon Saga. I'm also going to recommend Outlanders out of this list because again, based off of the comic, Manabe is basically going from his dojin work and that kind of stuff, making this kind of a anime. Definitely is very significant. So I'm gonna definitely add that to his list. The Chow. Okay, so this is sort of like your third part of the Rumiko World series. So Rumiko Takahashi, basically, making the Fire Tripper and Laughing Target and that kind of stuff. The Chojo obviously is going to be your next significant title in that set. So I'm going to recommend that one. I'm also going to pick the Perfectional Earth Defense Force. So this is another one of my personal favorites. Again, this guy does a lot of really funny doujinshis. You can see my the different links of the stuff that he does down below in the links there. So definitely check out some of those doujin translations in my channel here. But quite a comedic. Kind of this is a jump in the rough though. But definitely Perfectional Earth Defense Force, definitely worth checking out here. And the last two, the last ones that I was going to use in this sort of artist type of selections would be obviously the choice between, well, there's a couple, but I mean, Kizuno Bit 2, okay, just because the artist for Crying Free Man is just probably a really significant kind of thing. So again, he high quality sort of artwork that he does there, also really pushing on that edge of hentai. So this is that kind of edgy sort of anime that kind of gets there. So I'm gonna include this one, and then basically that will round out the 5. The other ones I had to kind of push off, and the reason I pushed them off is even though Urban Square, even though I like Kimi Takada's work, I didn't think that this one had the popularity base that it really would to put it in the top 5. And the other one is Cosmos the Pink Shock. Hirano's work, of course, you'll see his kind of work in of course Cream Lemon, but very, very popular for things like Dangai-O and his work they did on Extra One. But Cosmos the Pink Shock has no story, so I left that one out. So, but again, if you have the time to go past the top 5 and you want to go on the other titles, Call Me Tonight was going to be another one. Again, based off of the Cream Lemon series, which we're getting a lot of. I'll have to make a video about that particular thing on that. But yes, if I'm going to cut the list at 5, those were your titles: Amon Saga, you're getting it Outlanders, Chojo, Perfectional Earth Defense Force, and Kizunoi Bitu. All right, that's your year, 1986. Okay, I hope you liked that episode. And again, I'm going to continue going through all these episodes until we're totally caught to to modern day, and go through and go through different types of things and explain different animes, and hopefully you'll take some of the suggestions and that kind of stuff and just at least have a look at them, and to see and catch up with what the historically what was good anime back then. Okay, so until next time, see you again.